Hey everybody, let's go up Mooney Creek today because that is what the show is all about. A well-known creek, but it is quite a difficult creek and not many people know much about what's up in Mooney Creek. So that gives me the perfect opportunity to get up and go up there and really see what we can achieve as we go up. And if good, maybe you can take your own boat and get up there and do it yourself. Now I do know I've got into the river system right here and it is very shallow in places. Now I've come in at the low tide and I managed to get in, but I mean I've got some pretty extensive sound equipment and GPS equipment that is helping me to get in there, but it is shallow. The other thing is I've got a competition bass boat which is designed to go into just over a foot of water. So that helps me to get into these creeks, and I'm not saying all boats will make it in here. However, we're going to find out if the fishing is any good, and the species today definitely looks to me like flathead water, possibly some bream. I'm really looking for some bass as well further up the creek because it does get fresher, and maybe something else that we might find if we are lucky. So let's see how it goes. It's beautiful weather today. It's nice and clear. We've got a good incoming tide. We're just starting to push up now. So ladies and gentlemen, today we're going up Mooney Creek and let's go catch some biggins up the creek. Let's go. We're going to be moving up right now and we're going to be attacking the lower tide as this water starts moving up. Now it's going to be fast and it's going to be furious, and I've selected the baits that I'm going to be using to make that attack happen. Now bearing in mind, flathead are low tide feeders. People don't realize that. They will be active at high tide, but they really like to be active an hour into the tide and an hour on that drop, because that's when everything at its most vulnerable. And they just dig themselves into the sand and wait for things to come over to them. They stick their eyes out the water, and that's a good time. So what we're doing is we're mimicking that. Good bait caster today. Cover lots of water with that. I've got a 1/4 ounce jig head on that, and I'm just going to really move it around the boat, see if we can find those bigger fish. I then got the little guy of that, which is nice, a little bit more finessey, a little bit more, same color, but just a little bit more. But again, quite a nice head on that. I think that is a 1/8 ounce. Actually, it's not a bad weight at all. It's quite heavy, so it's going to be on the bottom. And just to follow things up to make it interesting, as a little sneaky bait, I'm going to be using that paddle tail still. So there it is, and it's a smaller one and very finesse-like. Use it as a follow-up bait as well, but it's a nice suggestive bait. And those fish are trying to move up into the mangroves now, and they're sort of sitting around and they're sort of scuffering around, and these flathead are going to try and intercept them. So that's what we're trying to imitate right here. We're going to get on it right now. Let's see if we can get some biggins. That's what I'm after. Let's go. Right, first up today, I'm just going to be using a little jerkbait, and nice way to cover water. This one's going to be on a little spinning reel. I'm just going to work it up the bank here, and it's kind of early, so you can see the mangroves in the back haven't been swamped yet with the water. But flathead do like a very low tide, and that's why they're flat, right? And they want to ambush their prey as that tide's coming up. In actual fact, most people don't know, but flathead feed before the tide is even halfway up. They're that good and that efficient as predators. So what I'm trying to do now is just simulate a bait fish swimming in the water here. Just making sure I engage with the bottom, looking at 1 meter here. So it's a nice area for a flathead to be hunting. And nice motor oil color, I guess a good one. Possibly maybe you need to go a little bit darker as we get into it, but that's the good start for us right now. And we're just going to work this water all the way around until we get around those points and see if we can get a catch. So by using a smaller bait like this at the minute, I also keep the options open for a good brim in the area as well as a possible bass, because we're getting up towards that sort of zone now where the water becomes a lot fresher. But flathead like to just sit on the bottom, and these mangroves have drop-offs on them because of the current coming past, and they tend to set up just outside the drop-offs. And there we go, right there. So there we go, first flathead of the day, as I was talking about. So just a little guy, but there you can see it, how they set up and they start ambushing the small minnows as they're coming past. So that's a start. It's tiny. Guy, nice and healthy, but we'll move on from here. Moved off the bank a little bit just to keep my shadow out of the water. See how nice and easy it is to flip this bait beautifully into the edges. Very nice. And that's why I've got the spinning reel outfit here. I can really hit my targets perfectly every single time, which counts. And the fact it's going to be sitting on that drop, just at the bottom of that drop, you see. So, and just a matter of time now. You can see how I just roll that nicely. Again, when I grab it, you'll see me grab it like this, not at the hook, and I'll swing it out towards my target. There you go. So that I don't get the hook in my finger every time. You got to be a little careful of that when you're pitching. But definitely engaging with the bottom, see? Engaging with that bottom, because that's where they are. They're on the bottom. They bury themselves in the mud and the sand, and basically they wait for the food to come to them, which means fan casting or moving down the bank like this is good. And you'll know that I'm pulling it on a sort of neutral current, because if you pull it down, there we go. One. Okay, another baby. There we go. You can see how that's really starting to turn out for us now. Another little guy. Fortunately, I've got some gloves on, but I don't need to use them. But there you go. And that is what we're doing. We're just pulling it down. We just need Big Mama to come out. Beautiful little specimen. Unfortunately, the baits only last so long with the flathead because they have got serrated mouths. Fortunately, I have my stash all in the tackle warehouse here in my boat, and I'm able to quickly access new ones all the time, and that's important. I've got so many baits in stock towards the back of the boat in one of the compartments there, and I just use this just to put a few in that I'm using on the day. I can tell you one thing, if you want to know something that works, the stuff that works, that motor oil little minnow, it's a jerk minnow, is potent if you want to go and get fish. So let's say, for example, you're just starting out and you wanted to fish around the docks, you can use this, and this will get you fish. This will get all species of fish too, which is kind of nice, and that's the reason why I'm fishing it right now, because sometimes you get really good brim that will sit on these as well, really good ones, and I'm keen on having a go at one of those as well. So there's the minnow. You can see how nicely it sits on there, and I've blackened the head, and that is how you would do it if you were just fishing a dock or something else like that. There you go. Make sure it's nice and tight. So you can see I've just caught a fish, and I need to retie, and that's something you need to really look at every time. Once you've got that fish, it's worth your while just retying every time. Resetting up with a new bait now, and we'll get straight back into the next fish. It's only a matter of time, you know. Again, numbers. You're playing the numbers, and you've got to work to get those bigger fish. You'll see that on some of the species file shows how that happens. A lot of fish that we don't show on the camera are smaller fish, and there you go. Oh, I got a bite straight away there. Oh, there's another one. There you go. So this is a tailor, I believe. Little menaces, because they really mess your baits up. But there you go. It's really lively this morning, isn't it? Fortunately, I have gloves, so I can take it off. You can see how that tailor got it in the mouth. They're little thieves because they like to take the tails. They've got teeth too, as you can see. They like to take the tails off your bait. Just put a brand new bait on. You can see how that's already been messed up from this tailor. Anyways, that goes back in the water. And there's plenty of those around. But the big flathead that's after those is what we're after. There we go. Nice one. Right, that's the one we're looking for right here. Oh yes, beautiful, beautiful fish. This is a big one. See if I can get it in all good with me. Really full of attitude, really big, and I hope I can get it up. Oh, and I lost it right by the boat. Always use your net. So how not to do it there? Thought I could lift it up into the boat, and unfortunately it was too heavy. It was a beautiful big flathead, and you know, you got to try and recover from that. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, I had a good fish, one that would count, one that would be a great one to show everybody, and I went and messed it up. And shows you, get your net. Anyways, they're still young, we can recover from that, but it does hurt. Anyways, here we go, re-rig and get back in it. Doing a little bit of backpedaling. We're going up that way, and I've got my nose faced this side, which is allowing me to sort of hover it in places to be able to get into zones where I feel there might be some fish, and also to chase some of those breaks that you see on top of the water, you know. So definitely a lot of activity starting here with all of the mullet just going crazy, and they're all moving up with me and the boat. So it's really cool, but yeah, fishing slow must say, but we're just going to keep on working at it and just keep that bait engaged with the water. It's so nice and slow at the minute that, you know, we can cover everything and meticulously just hit every little spot as we go. I'm sure there's going to be a good bite here soon. So it's a definite ledge in front of us. I'm sitting in 3 meters of water just off the bank, so it's a drop off definitely. And yeah, worthwhile just having a little check along here as it fills up those mangroves. You can see how they've filled up quite a bit now, and it creates that ledge at the side, and that little zone is a good zone to just check, because the fish will feed in those little drop-offs. Ooh, we're getting bites, that's for sure. There's a lot of tailor bites, but also a brim bite or two, so it's very promising. You just need the big mama to be sitting there at the right place at the right time, and you'll get her. There's one of those openings I was talking about. So as that sort of floods down to the back, that's where the predator's going to sit, just on the outside, waiting for small fish to cross into that area at the back, looking for safety. And go there again, of course, and just work it. Definitely flooding up now, isn't it? It's got to keep moving on with this tide. You don't want to get behind it. You want to stay with it. But occasionally you've got to just check it out, you know, check out the prospects of couple of big brim or something just moving in up this bank. So just very quickly, you can see I've literally just skim fished it, and there are the fish trying to move up right there. They may have been chased actually. Big swirl up in front of me. So yeah, there's plenty happening. We just got to get that bait and that hook in the right place. Go. There we go. Right, now that's a better fish. That's a better fish, that one. That's a good fish. And I'd call that one. Feels like a big flathead. I'm going to take my time on this because I have messed up before, if you remember. Oh yes, this is the one we want. This is the one we're after, and I've got to make this right. Remember last time, completely hashed this. This time I will need the net, and the net is ready. This is a beast. This is what we're looking for, an absolute beast. Don't want to lose. Come here, baby. Come here, beast. Come here, beast. I'm just gonna grab this fish. Oh, I missed it. Come here. Oh, that was the beast of all beasts. That was the one we were looking for. That was a meter long flathead, and I just couldn't get it in the net. The net was not big enough for it. And that absolutely kills me, because that's exactly what I was after, and that's the second one we've dropped. I didn't have a choice, but I tried to lip it, and it pulled out of my hand. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to get over that one. That was the one I wanted to show you all, and I hope I got enough on camera to see it. But that was the beast. Wow. Anyways, we know they do live up here now, don't we? And that was the one I needed. I just couldn't get it in to this net. It was too big. And it's so tough when you lose that opportunity. The only thing to do is to rig up and go again. Keep on working. If it's two big fish now we've dropped today, oh well, it's fishing, and it just proves that up in Mooney Creek there are some big ones. Let me get over that and we'll get straight back to it. Wow. All right, well, it is what it is, and that was an absolute beast. That was what we're after. So we're 0 for 2 big ones today, aren't we? And that's just the way it goes. But I would love to have shown you that. I'm shaking like crazy, because that's the fish that I was looking for you guys. And unfortunately, that tells me something. I need to get a bigger net to land that. But again, it does show us that there is some really good fish up here. Now, I've got the Pertic Challenge coming up next weekend, and that one would have been a counting fish for that tournament. So I'm going to go this week and get myself a big, massive net, so I can definitely get those in the boat. Unfortunately, I do have another net on board. I didn't think at the time to grab it out. I got it in the, it's a short-handled one, but it's definitely can hold a bigger fish. I just didn't think about it, and I was going to give it a go, and I did get my hand in its mouth, despite all the teeth and the serrated spines that it has, and I was going to try and grab it, and I did grab it in the mouth, and then it pulled away, and it just managed to get away. So anyways, the one that got away, that's 2 that got away today. You can't let that discourage you. You just got to get back in the game. Same bait, and I'm just going to keep on going, man. You know, it does show though that we are getting those big bites, and that is a really good bite. So let's go back in, see if we can retrieve ourselves something today. But that hurts. Anyways, let's go. So what's intriguing me here is the fish that are being chased around, and definite chases going on here, which is definitely the sign I'm looking for. And you can see how I've now adapted my style to fish that drop off and not just fish towards the bank. I'm actually getting right in it now and just really working it. On the other side of this tree I saw a good chase there, so again another possibility of a big fish, a giant, which is what we're after today. And we can't have 3 for 3. We got to get the third one in. If we get a chance to get it, we have to get this next one in. I've been rehearsing what I'm going to do this time to ensure that we get this in, but I really didn't expect that my hand to slip out of its mouth as it did. So just going to fish it because it's definitely there to be fished, and you know, where there's one, there's got to be more, so I'm not even worried about it at this stage. We've got good tide to fish here, so we'll keep on at it, and hopefully we can redeem ourselves from that loss, those 2 losses that we just had. 2 absolute losses. It'll work it though. So never give up. That's the big thing here. Never give up. Just keep on working. Keep on putting that bait into the water. Fish these drops. These drops definitely have got fish on them at the minute. Yeah, this is another big fish. Another absolute monster. But this time, we got to work it out. It is an absolute beast. And came up the bank. I'm going to try and tire it out a little bit this time. And I really want to get this fish in this time. This is it. This is the one that's going to redeem me. Definitely. Same net. It's a big toad. This time, ladies and gentlemen, hi! I managed to succeed. And let me tell you what, that is fishing for you. You know, you win some. Look at that, how that just broke out its mouth. You win some, you lose some, but you don't give up. And that is the master story behind this whole catch. Let me just clean that lens. Let me get that fish for you. I'm just trying to get the shakes out now because that was just insane. It's not as big as the one before, but it's big. And it just shows you, you know, persistence pays when you're fishing. Don't just give up because you have a couple of bloopers. And that's exactly what I had. Let me grab that fish for you. I'll be right back. So ladies and gentlemen, there it is. And that's exactly what we're looking for. I've redeemed myself. This is the third one. Nice big flathead, big female. Didn't change anything up. Most certainly though, did not give up. And that is the most important thing when you're fishing. Don't give up, man. If you keep on persisting, you will get those catches. And that's very, very important to understand. So I used the same bait. I went up similar banks. I tried to match what I'd seen before. And there's the result. Another absolute stunning fish. And if I can show you, look at that beautiful flathead we just got there. That is an absolute stud. And so glad to show you that. I really feel good now that I managed to turn it around and actually show you a good flathead. What a stunner. There it is in full picture. I don't know if it was as big as the other one though. But in any case, redeemed myself. Fantastic. That's a good one. I know that there's bigger ones around too, which is fantastic for next week's Pertec challenge, of which this is one of the species. And judging by that fish before, these are big guys out here in Mooney Creek. And well, these are lurking around. I'm definitely coming back during the competition to see if I can put a couple of these on board. But let me put that back now. Thank you, baby. You were fantastic. You're a beautiful fish, and you belong back in the water. Catch and release on my shows. Here we go. Thank you, baby. That was fantastic, and I feel so redeemed. Yes. Let's get right back to it. And then I'm going to go up the river to go get some bass. Come on. Can we knock 2 out today? Let's see. So, everybody, that is great, man. And I'll tell you what, if we carried on, we probably would get a few more. But I'd like to try the opportunity of getting some estuary perch and bass up the river. And I've got one tide to do it. So I'm going to leave that now. And we're going to go up top and we're going to see if we can do some spinner baiting and some paddle tails and see if we can get some of those cool fish catches up the river. No problem at all coming here during the Pertec challenge this year. This, as we've seen, just absolutely some really big untouched flathead waters, and that challenge has got 5 species, which we are going for, 6 species in actual fact, which we're going for here in the Hawkesbury River. I'll bring you up to date with those when that show drops. But right now we're saddling up, we're going up the river, and we're gonna go get some bass, estuary perch. Let's go.